We're getting breaking inputs here with respect to day 9 of the Aadhaar hearing in the Supreme Court. These are the nature of arguments that have taken place on the Constitution bench, which is hearing the case. A cluster of petitions here which is against the Aadhaar scheme by the government. Today, with the government side of the argument trying to assure to the Supreme Court that no citizen, nobody is being excluded or even denied any entitlements for inability to authenticate their identity. The government in its argument has further added, if biometrics do not work, then merely furnishing Aadhaar card or the enrollment application number is proof enough. So this is an important distinction in the government's argument here, that even if biometrics is not working, what can work on ground is to show that you have an Aadhaar card, is furnishing the Aadhaar card or the enrollment application number, that being proof enough. Let's get in further inputs on what this argument really means on the larger issue as opposed to the opposite argument here. Our correspondent for legal affairs, Meenakshi, with these details in that assurance now that has come in from the government. Meenakshi, please go ahead.
Well, Seher, this is day 9 of the Constitution bench arguments, which are the final arguments which will go on to decide the constitutional validity of the Aadhaar Act 2016. And in the course of debate today, we saw Kapil Sibal, who's making a representation for some of the petitioners, including the state of West Bengal, try to reiterate his position about how people are being marginalized for non-possession of Aadhaar. We have recently seen instances in Delhi as well, where a group of people had got together to cite their grievances about how they're being kept away from access to minimum requirement basics, including rations, because there have been discrepancies in their Aadhaar cards. Of course, we will see detailed deliberations on this from the government side, from UIDI side going forward. Today was the initial clarification which has been offered by the Government of India, where it was the attorney, the top law officer of the government, who was issuing this clarification. And like you already pointed out, he went on to say as to how nobody is being excluded or denied entitlements for the inability to authenticate their identity. If biometrics don't work, then merely furnishing made about perhaps a tad faulty implementation. It is the government's position before the Supreme Court, Seher, which we will see more elaboration on going forward. Remember, this is a very preliminary submission today, which the attorney has made to assuage the fears of the court. The details of this will flow in a short while, but clearly government on its part is today telling the Supreme Court that the purpose of the intention is not exclusion but inclusion.
That's right. But the very fact, unfortunately, there have been such exclusions that have been reported on ground. There is perhaps a need to fix something on ground. Has there been an indication on that in this argument?
Well, Seher, like I said, the matter is sub judice. It is pending judicial scrutiny. The
Right.
validity of the Aadhaar Act has not yet been adjudicated upon. That is what is being debated. And going forward, we will see voluminous arguments being advanced. Expect these arguments to go on for at least the next 15 to 20 days.
Meenakshi Panja, I appreciate you getting in those inputs directly coming in from the Supreme Court as it is hearing this case pertaining to Aadhaar.